Okay, should we start?
Annette?
Yeah, so I think it is time to start. Good morning and good evening, dear participants. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. As you know, today's our session is related to the topic navigating Eurasian media in the age of artificial intelligence, challenges, practices, and new horizons. When you were talking about this topic, the aim of to make this our online session was to talk about how AI changed our journalism world. There were five our participants, but unfortunately, today we have only two speakers. And as a moderator, my name is Karlaga Musaeva. I am working at Al Farabi Kazakh National University as an associated professor. So, the panel description was as artificial intelligence continues to transform the global media landscape, journalism in Eurasia, not just only in Eurasia, in the world, so is confronted with a complex mix of technological innovation, political constraint, and societal transition. This panel examined how media professionals and institutions across the region are responding to these shifts, balancing innovation with ethical responsibility and navigating the pressures of automation, limited press freedom, and the digital inequality. I don't like to read all the panel explanation, but I would like to introduce our speakers for today's panel. So first, our speaker, Dr. Eric Friedman, Professor of Journalism and the Knight Share Director, Knight Center for Environmental Journalism, Director, Capital News Service from Michigan State University. And second, our participant, Dr. Nazima Muratova, Doctor of Science and the Vice Rector for Science and Innovation, University of Journalism and Mass Communications of Uzbekistan. So recently we had a big conference with Dr. Muratova in Mumbai. It's called Asian Media Information and Communication Center conference. So we were talking about how journalism education changed in Central Asia. But today, I think we will make some mixed ideas about how journalism and the media transformed and working with the AI today. So I would like to stop here, and I would like to give you Dr. Eric Friedman floor. Please, you can start. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for organizing the panel. I'm not an AI specialist, but my concerns are as a professional journalist, as a journalism educator, and as an advocate for freedom of expression. And the discussion of AI to me fits in with an understanding of the media landscape in the former Soviet Union, in this case, Central Asia and the Caucasus, and the intersection between increasing authoritarianism and new technologies. We've become increasingly vulnerable to AI and other technological manipulations that are engineered by a variety of powerful and hoping to be powerful forces. So I have some categories in my mind of where the generation of AI is coming from that affects the media in the region. First are from foreign governments, Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, and others that are seeking political and military and economic advantage. And they're using AI and other technological tools to shape and reshape and distort the messaging, to undermine their opponents, to support the regimes that are in their corner, in their support, and to weaken regimes that may be opposed to them.
Sorry, Eric, do you using your presentation or no? PowerPoint? You can't
I'm going to
see.
put that, I'm going to do that after this
Oh, yeah.
introduction
Okay.
part.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. And the governments are using AI to discredit dissident and independent groups, to embarrass them, and to undercut their opportunity to communicate honestly with the public, whether it's in their country or in the region. The second big player I see in the AI world are private interests, private enterprises seeking to undermine their commercial and business competitors, again, for economic advantage. These are their rivals in the marketplace for product and for ideas and for government subsidies. And the third, and I think that this is something that Carliga and Nazima will see from their own experience, is the impact on higher education. And I put this into three categories: students, faculty, researchers, and the universities themselves. Students are using AI around the world to cheat. It's the old days, they would plagiarize, they'd copy and paste, they go onto the internet and take somebody else's research and put it in their essay or in their term paper. Now it's much easier for them to do that. They don't even read the papers that they use AI for. And I've seen situations where faculty have called on the student to present their paper, and they have no idea what's in their own paper. So they're not learning. What they are experiencing is dishonesty, laziness, and simply to get through, get their degree, get their credential, and get out. The second, and I think this for us is the most damaging, is the impact on scholarship and research. Now, maybe it's not so much, excuse me, I have allergies. For me, it's not so much the humanities and music and poetry. It's just as dishonest for faculty to do that there. But for those who are researchers in engineering, health sciences, the environment, economics, their false research can lead other researchers down blind alleys, down to dead ends. When they're making up results, they're creating fictitious references and citations, and they're submitting them both to legitimate journals and to predatory journals. Predatory journals are not reading them, reviewing them, checking, fact-checking, none of that. But even legitimate journals have been retracting articles because their editors and their reviewers missed the fact that the manuscript had a non-existent citation or fabricated results. That undermines the science. It undermines the ability of one researcher to build on what his or her predecessors have found. And the third is the damage to the institutions themselves. As you know, universities in Central Asia are trying, from the rector on down, to increase their international standing in the rankings, to improve the reputation of the institution and its faculty. And they can't do this if the research that's produced by their faculty is distorted by AI. And because publications are one of the important metrics in reputation, all the hard work that institutions are doing, all the hard work that ministries of education are doing to support research is damaged. So those are my thoughts on AI. And what I'd like to do just briefly is talk about the paper I'm going to be presenting in Washington on Wednesday that is on the intersection of freedom of expression and freedom of religion and international news media. And the geographic caucus, the geographic focus is on the Caucasus. So I'm going to try sharing this. I can got to find the right screen. Let me try this again. Can you see that? It's not being shared?
Oh,
Okay. Daniel, maybe you can help me out on this.
Hi, Eric. So you can see the green button to share.
Looking for it again. Let me.
It should be down here in the footer of Zoom. There's a green button, share.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, if you click on the green button,
Yeah,
then some window is gonna pop. I
Yeah.
mean, you have your presentation already open, right?
right.
Okay, so when you click on the green button, there will pop a window for you to pick where is your presentation.
Okay. What pops up is advanced sharing option. Should I just close that? Host only, all participants.
Uh,
Let me
I
close
don't
that.
know. I
Let me-
mean, let's go step by step. So please stop. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, we can see it now. It's in editor
All right.
mode.
Let me put it in.
Way to
Okay.
go.
Oh, all right. Good. Okay. Well, thank you for this opportunity. Let me tell you what we looked at. For a number of years, I've been following Forum 18. It's an international news service, nonprofit based in Oslo, and describes itself as a Christian initiated project, but it reports on religion and, in particular, constraints on religion in the former Soviet Union. And it uses Western reporting techniques and lots of detail. And over the years, it's built up a network of people in these countries. Some of them are faith leaders, some of them are human rights defenders, some of them are press rights defenders. So the name of the organization comes from Declaration of Human Rights and the ability protected, we believe, by international law to express our faith, whatever it is. So we did a content analysis, and by we, myself and a graduate assistant and 2 undergraduate research assistants, and we looked at its coverage over time and focus this time. We've done previous studies on Central Asia, and we're working on a book chapter similar to this on Central Asia to be published next year. So we had 4 hypotheses. One is that stories about individual events, what's happening to people, to a particular church or mosque, to a particular religious community, would be more common than those stories about broad policies and initiatives by governments. Second hypothesis was that unnamed sources would outnumber named sources. Third is that most stories would quote faith leaders or human rights or prisoners of conscience. And the last one is that non-official sources, ordinary people, faith leaders, would outnumber the official sources. So these are some examples of prisoners of conscience in Azerbaijan who were imprisoned because of their religious practice, their religious faith, and they were in some of these stories. These are 3 conscientious objectors, members of, one was Baptist, 2 others were members of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they claimed religious exemption from the compulsory military law in their country. One of the things I like about Forum 18 coverage is the editor, Felix Corley, tries to get the actual names of people, particularly people in authority, to help hold them liable, even though most of the audience is outside the country, so that instead of just saying a spokesman for the ministry, to give as much detail as possible about those who are unwilling to talk or are willing to talk only anonymously. And I'm not going to read through here, but these are some examples from stories during our study period. And we found that event-driven stories do outnumber the stories that are broad policy. And as journalists, we know that one news value is the human aspect. And as consumers of news and information, as audience members, it's more interesting to us to read about people than it is to read about what Parliament is doing and what the politicians are talking about. We were surprised to find that there were more named sources than unnamed sources in the Caucasus, because our previous research in Central Asia found that there were more anonymous sources, and that could be a combination of the reporter's own news sources, the degree to which people are afraid of retaliation from the regime, and third, that perhaps religious protests are not as much of a priority in the Caucasus for authorities to act against protesters than it is in Central Asia. We found that there were quotes from faith leaders and other unofficial sources in most of the stories, and we found that non-official sources do outnumber official sources. So that's just a brief recap. Let me just tell you a couple of the ways I see the implications are. One, that there is a deliberate connection between religious freedom, freedom of worship, and freedom of speech, freedom of the press. And that the two together are, in a sense, a double threat to some regimes. Second, that international news organizations are the only ones generally reporting on these issues. The domestic media, the home country media, cannot do so because of censorship or self-censorship. And most of the international news organizations, other than Forum 18, take a much broader look at human rights and political rights and gender rights. So religious freedom gets much less attention, even in the international press. And the third lesson is that news organizations like Forum 18 can hold public officials, public employees, policymakers responsible, even if it's just shining a little light on what they individually do or say or don't say in their home countries. So the floor is back to you, Carliga.
Thank you so much, Eric. That was a wonderful presentation, despite that you made very short but very, how can I say, informative. So I really appreciated that you shared with your findings that made from your, based on your research. So
I will send you both my paper also.
Oh, that should be great. Yeah, because it is really interesting, and I think it is one of the big issue which we have in Central Asia countries too. So, yeah, I am not sure how it will work, but it should be better if you will make some kind of comparison study between your study Caucasus and Central Asian about religion freedoms too, because you have a lot of case studies too. So one of my point of view about AI and how to organize Dr. Nazima, if you will be here, maybe you can listen you and then we will discuss about our session questions, right?
Yes. I would like to share my slides here. PowerPoint. Share. Allow Zoom workplace to share. Open. Oh, I'm sorry. My just a minute. So I will try to share, yes, my slides here. Share. Can you see?
Great, yeah.
I will
Just,
do the, yes, this one.
just make it like slide.
Yes. Is it okay?
Yes, that is great.
So my presentation was about the transforming media literacy approaches in Uzbekistan. We did research about the educational and academic spheres. We worked with Mariat Yakola from Nordic University, and I was a local consultant, and Mariat was international consultant. It was a project of UNESCO and Swiss Development Cooperation Program. So what we had for that? First of all, I would like to introduce you with our methodology. Study used a comprehensive three-component of methodology. We would like to do the map of media information literacy landscape in Uzbekistan. So first, we conducted stakeholders consultations in 2 rounds. In fall 2024, we engaged with 25 organizations. Between February and March 2025, we held a second round with 11 of additional organizations. Total number is 37 unified organizations we consulted. Second, we organized a full-day workshop on match of 3. Marriott was the main trainer. We sent out the invitations and successfully gathered 50 participants from diverse sectors. And third methodology, it was about the literature review. We conducted a systematic literature review, analyzed 4 scholarly publications on media information literacy published between 2011 and 2025. These publications were in 3 languages, Uzbek, Russian, and English, reflecting the regional academic context. And except of this, we had a review of sources on media information literacy in Uzbekistan. I mean, so when I say about the sources, it was sources of using in educational aim online sources and the kind of games. I will talk about this later. So next one. What about stakeholders? What kind of mapping we have? So through our consultation, we identified 63 key organizations actively working in the media information literacy field in Uzbekistan. These organizations span 7 districts, sectors. You can see in the slides, it's state governance and administration, more of them, this part, media and communication, 19%, public education, 15%, higher education and research, civil society. We had also libraries and youth organizations. What about the workshop and what kind of participants we had at that workshop? First, the sectors was same, but we have a little bit differences. We had state administration, civil society, education and development organizations, researchers, libraries, media, youth organizations, and others. Others, they cannot they cannot say that they are state administration or the education. That's why we had the kind of sector as others. So what kind of statistics we have about the academic landscape and research of literature review? Our literature review gives the insights into the academic foundation of MIL work in Uzbekistan. We identified and analyzed 40 scholarly publications focused on media and information literacy topics, published, as I said, during 5 years. So these publications appeared in 5 major journals. I would like to say that some of them we have in the same journals, but some of them was in the other journals. I mean, we have journals, scientific journals in Uzbekistan, and as well we have scientific journals, scientific publications, which is published not in Uzbek journals. I have here the names of these publications and scientific journals as well. So what we had after the analyze, we proposed 5 meal models for Uzbekistan. These models are mentioned in these academic papers. First is Uzbek model. For instance, our author Jumanova said about this. Uzbek model, she tried to focus development of this model, specifically designed for Uzbek educational and social context. Second one is DW Academy model. It's a right-based approach which emphasizes human rights, access to information, and freedom of speech. Third one is UNESCO model. You know about this. It is international. It has an international framework, which is globally recognized framework for media and information literacy. Always they said not about the media literacy, but they are mentioning and emphasizing the media and information literacy. Fourth is a synthetic model of development for these countries. It's a synthetic model. Most of all, we saw the authors who worked with collaborative with these authors. It's an individual-centered model. And next one is personal cultural model or individual-centered model, which is emphasizes learner agency and cultural context. And next one is meal for information security. More state organizations in Uzbekistan looking for media information literacy methods as information security instruments. That's why we should which we should select and separate this kind of meal model as well. It is for Uzbek society more close. They're trying to use media information literacy, but it's not always about the human right based approach. Sometimes it's like an information security instrument. So what else? What we had? Mill resources. We did the infrastructure of mill resources, and we can see that we have products and processes. First one about the product categories. We had lectures, videos, model, teaching materials, games and interactive works, educational materials for practitioners and adults, media content on mill topics, but in every stage, in every kind of this meal component, we cannot see the whole participants of the media information literacy actors. That's why this kind of product categories are not so popular, or they have the very focused participants. For instance, if NGO are working with these products, users or trainees or pupils or participants of these NGO trainings using these modules or this kind of games, but not all population of Uzbekistan are famous and know about this. And next one is about the process. What kind of categories we have here? Thematic days, weeks, meal competitions, public companies, seminars, workshop, and conferences is more popular here. Editorial visits, lecture tournaments, and mentoring, meal internship. But all of these are depends to the donors organization. If the organization have the kind of donors money, they are doing the kind of workshops, but it depends to the projects. This is a feature of this structure of this process categories in meal approaches. Next one, what kind of educational platforms we have in Uzbekistan? State platforms, such kind of EduKids, İmakitab, Hemis, and Ilim Argos. It's a kind of the educational platform for students, for pupils. It is not about the meal skills, but we should mention them because this is for whole Uzbekistan. Each student and each school boy have the access to e-maktab and Hemis. That's why it's important. And except of this, we have specialized meal platforms. It's a Media Savod or Media Sabak. It's a curated meal initiatives by NGOs. Fact Check US, it's a fact-checking platform. It's now working very well. And Q Clever, it's a meal platform for Central Asia and focused on Uzbekistan as well. It's like a game platform where you can have your meal skills and can gain the kind of coins for that. It's for Z generation, which is more close to the gain information and gain knowledges by the game technologies. Next one, just a minute. But we also should say that now we have the kind of cross-sectoral meal topics. It's very interesting. It's very important for us. Why? Because this kind of cross-sectoral meal topics can show how meal actors are working on these topics. So 8 key thematic areas that all MIL stakeholders should address, and regardless to their sector. First of all, of course, each actor should think about that. First is human rights, protecting access to information and supporting children's rights and citizens' right to the free of expression. Second one is information disorders, addressing challenges like disinformation and citizens' rights for free, disinformation, misinformation, fake news, and echo chambers. Third one is digital security. It's too important for Uzbekistan, which is mostly of youth population, managing security concerns and at individuals, organizational, and social level. Fourth one, new technologies, understanding artificial intelligence, algorithms, digital platforms, and emerging technologies like virtual reality. This is very close to our topic today because artificial intelligence and new technologies nowadays at the part of education in every school and every high education program. But it's just starting point now of how we will implement it. Fifth one is media well-being, helping people manage screen time and develop healthy media consumption habits. And next one is about the hate speech and cyberbullying, countering harmful ideologies and supporting victims and of online harassment. Unfortunately, this is very important for us as well because nowadays we can see our youth in social media have the kind of cases, and nowadays it is becoming more popular and popular. That's why this kind of thematic topic is important. So next, digital exclusion, ensuring that vulnerable groups like children, elderly person, and people with disabilities are not left behind. During working with stakeholders, we also covered the kind of groups, but unfortunately, there are very far from the meal knowledge and meal skills. And we should say that this kind of sectors should know about actors of meal actors also should know about this gap. And next one is lifelong learning, supporting continuous education, retraining, and informal learning opportunities for all ages. This cross-sectoral meal topics is important for every actor, and we think that during our consultations and workshop, we try to explain it. But some stakeholders have focused on human rights, for instance, and some stakeholders focused on new technologies. But lifelong learning, retraining, and continuously education is not important for all stakeholders. This is out of their attention. That's why we try to here they mention this. So next one. We also did the kind of SWOT analysis about this, and we can see that central organizations in Tashkent are well equipped with technology and facilities. Several organizations have already accumulated significant experience in meal work. It's a very good professional development and training infrastructure exists. And perhaps most importantly, there is strong cultural foundations rooted in the Jadid traditions. You know, this kind of topic is important for every sector in Uzbekistan now. It's a kind of historical reform movement that championed education and freedom of thought. On the opportunity side, stakeholder motivation is higher. And we saw in our workshop and we saw this in our workshop and in their responses. And all government degrees also support the kind of work on media information literacy. But except of this, we also have the weaknesses and threats. On the weaknesses side, we are large disparities between the well-equipped central organizations and poorly equipped ones in regions and rural areas. Unfortunately, it's true, we should mention it. Collaboration and idea exchange among stakeholders are weak. This is kind of um, feature is in Uzbekistan played the negative role in increasing of the implementation of meal skills and meal knowledges. This leads to significant duplication of effort. Additionally, there is no uniform conceptual approach. Different organizations and sectors understand and practice media literacy quite different. This is also we should mention because after our research work, we with our international colleague will work on the media information literacy strategy and policy, and we try to give equal concepts, equal terminology for all organizations. So treats, it's about the depends on international actors. Media environment are out of this process, unfortunately, and limited freedom of speech in Uzbekistan. I mean, the kind of works when journalists are thinking about how I can speak about this. May I do it or not? Should I do it or not? They have a intern censorship, and this is a kind of also impact for that. And civil society structures also are working not so widely in all over the Uzbekistan. And I would like to say about the identified gaps. So first is independent bloggers, influencers, and content creators who, through influential and not formally organized, private sector companies like banks, retail business, and startups are largely absent in meal strategy and meal actors and stakeholders. Museums, cultural heritage organizations are not active in meal. Religions organizations, particularly Islamic organizations, are underrepresented. Parent organizations, elderly citizens are not engaged, and rural population and organizations outside of the capital are largely absent from our consultations. This is a gap of research in some way, and the gap of the meal coverage. Second one is geographic gaps. Tashkent is a centric focus. 5 major regional universities were not included in our research. Also working on the meal, but they have weaknesses about the trainers and about the engagement of the students and population to this work. So this was the end of my presentation, and at last I want to say about artificial intelligence. 2 days or 1 day ago, just finished it also a conference, and there were main topic was AI tools in newsrooms. And we also saw the international media newsrooms also trying to find the kind of correct forms and ways to use AI tools. But we think that nowadays we should think about the meal education, AI, and AI education, as well as one part of the meal skill. That's why we are now working in our university, working on the subjects and research where we covering meal, and one of its big component and is AI skill as well. It depends to the journalist, and depends to the whole population as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nazima. That was really good presentation. And I think the problems of media literacy still have a big issue in Central Asian countries, not just only in Uzbekistan. So I think it is time to ask questions. I saw just only one person who is participate here, Dilnoza Rajabova. Yeah, and
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
good morning, good evening. Yeah, so if you have any questions to our speakers, please feel free.
Thank you.
Do you have
I have
questions?
I have a question for Nazima. I was especially interested in the acknowledgement from your research of differences between the capital region and the regions, and in particular, rural communities within the region. How do you and your partners see the path forward to closing that gap in media and information literacy?
First of all, we are trying to give, as I said, one document. It's a kind of policy and strategy on media information literacy, and one part of that document will depend to the educational part. As you know, with education, we can cover all whole republic, whole Uzbekistan. And second one is to activate media sector as a active partner, active stakeholder, active actor in the meal coverage. This is two ways which we are working on and thinking about.
Okay.
I have a question for Karliga.
Okay.
Could you talk about how Kaznu is dealing with AI and students using or abusing it, and policies, and maybe Nazima can talk about how her institution specifically is dealing with that same question with your journalism and mass communication students.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. That is a really great question, because AI is not just helpful tool, unfortunately. Today, we have a lot of kind of the same challenges you mentioned before. Yeah, you give the really good category about that AI problems. So at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, there are some methodological instruction how to use AI for the students. Also, the good things at our Faculty of Journalism, we have opened the AI lab. So it means that there are some kind of really good opportunity for the students who want to know more about AI, not just using ChatGPT to get some information, but that AI lab with, if I am not wrong, it was with some international organizations. They give some kind of financial support, and they opened the lab, AI lab. It called AI lab and media. So it is one of the good start of our faculty doing with the how to our students can use professional AI, not just like for the to get some kind of information or some. It is like how can they will improve their knowledge about AI. So that is one of the good chance for our students. The second is very interesting that, and I am not sure if I am right or wrong, because our dean of our faculty, he opened the journal which is made by the AI. So this journal, just students, they will choose the different kind of topics, and they will use some AI tools, and they will make some kind of publications, very short article, and then they will publish it in this one, like it is really, it is not really journal, it is like newspaper, like 4 pages of newspaper. They produced that newspaper by the help of AI tools. That is the second very interesting thing, that because I disagree with some kind of our professors that it is a good idea for the students who want to will. Okay, great. Thank you, Daniel, for your help. Yes. So I think we can, yeah, that is really good for us, for students, somebody said. But, you know, there is no any kind of like professional skills to write by selves, right? So students use just ChatGPT, ask about that kind of topic, and that ready material or article they are giving for that newspaper. Unfortunately, some of our professors said, no, it is a good idea, but I am not sure, but I am not, I disagree with that, that is what they are doing, because if it should be, maybe in the future, they will change like some kind of content, which will be doing by the, like writing or by students. It can be the different. So the second was my idea is about that how our students will work with that AI newspaper. The third one, which what I wanted to emphasize about the, as you said, plagiarism, right? So there was a really interesting case. One of our older professor who doesn't know about AI, she was saying that, oh, my students are so smart. They are writing really good topics. I give them some kind of like very difficult subject, but they like they give me a very good essay. So and I said, okay, let's try to check if it is not ChatGPT. That should be good, and the students will be smart. So you have to. We checked that 3 of the, just from around 70 students they give an answer for that essay. We just checked 3 of them. Can you imagine? It was like 80 to 90% by writing by ChatGPT. So that is the one of the biggest issues that we will work in the future to change that kind of how to solve these problems. Yeah, that is, yeah, Nazima, you can add.
Yes, one small little remark about you said. I have here my nephew. He is the son of my sister. He is studying in Brunel University in the UK. He helped me with the internet because internet in our hotel is not working. That's why he helped me with the kind of internet connection, and he is now hearing your thoughts and Eric's thoughts about the AI, and said his just a few words about his opinion. we cannot say that no every student should not use the AI instrument, but we should try to think about the mentorship or the kind of instructions about how they can do it and how it is not possible or it's not correct to use that. This will be the kind of way how they will find the correct way to use AI. So if we say don't use AI instruments, don't use them, it will be the kind of problem. But he is more younger, he is a third year student, and I think, and I thought about my students as well. If we will show them how they can use it or how can they implement it to their tasks, for instance, it will be better if if we will say don't use it at all. That's kind of short remark. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that is great idea, Nazima. But I think it is not possible to say don't use ChatGPT or any kind of AI. We are not saying that you don't have to use that at all. But and as I said before in the beginning of my speech, that Kaznu has the rules for the students. How can they use? But the main problem is how can we help to our students to use that different tool of AI to help to improve their skills as a professional journalist, not being like, because as you know, students who just making some just copy and paste from the ChatGPT, they are not learning anything. Yeah, Eric, you wanna add something?
Oh, I agree that it's not going to go away. And it's becoming more sophisticated, so harder for professors and instructors to identify what ChatGPT produced, what the student independently produced, and how they were combined. I'd be interested, maybe it's a future study for someone, in looking at syllabi of journalism classes at a variety of universities. You could do it in the region. It doesn't have to be in the US, and see what students are being told by their individual professors in the syllabi is or is not acceptable use of AI. I think I'm going to put something in my spring semester syllabus because I talk about, I have plagiarism in there, and plagiarism, you can fail the assignment, you can fail the course, you could even be removed from the journalism major. But I don't have any language now on AI. That would be interesting. And maybe you come up with some recommending some best practices that are distilled from the syllabi you've collected from a variety of journalism and mass communication professors. You can put that on your list of future projects.
Oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is a good idea, Eric. But I just wanted to clarify. You mean that in syllabi, a professor must like put, don't use AI, or how to use AI?
Well, in my syllabus, I tell students there's a schedule, there's the grading criteria, all of that. But I tell them things about if you miss more than a certain number of classes, your grade will go down. If you violate the journalism school rules on academic integrity, this is what can happen. But I don't specifically say it's okay to use AI for research, but not for writing your story. It's okay to use it for editing, which we all do. It's not generative, but we spell check is AI, but it's not the creative, it's not the generative AI. And I'm going to talk with a couple of colleagues and see if they're doing something and I can use their language, their rubric in there to put students on notice. So I had one student this semester, international undergraduate from China, who asked me about using AI right at the beginning of the semester, but I didn't have anything in writing to show her and to show her classmates.
Yeah, we have the same how can I say it is like problems. We have a lot of students from China, and unfortunately they couldn't speak in English or Kazakh or Russian. So we can't to speak in Chinese, right? So there is a big issue between how to make some connection. Like when you started to explain them lecture, they will start using just like a translator. So, and we give some. I give some. I have just only one doctoral student, and I give to him one assignment to write just a very short abstract, and it was writing by AI. So I was asking, please write in Chinese language by yourself, and then you can just translate it. And he said, "Oh, I can't do it like that, but it is so how can I say? It is for him easier to write by ChatGPT. So it is really the really big issue. How can we solve these problems?
Karliga, sorry, my internet is not stable now. I don't know why I switched off and come again. Just one information for all.
Yeah.
Do either of you know Dilnoza, who was on for a few minutes? Do you
I don't
recognize
know.
her? Okay.
Yeah. So, and another thing I just wanted to know about Eric, in your presentation, you said about book. Is it about the Central Asian religion or some kind of a book?
It's about the Muslim world in post-Soviet countries.
Wow,
So
that is great.
it's I know the date has closed to submit your chapter proposals, but I'll forward to you the description of what the book project is.
Oh, great. Yeah, because I think there were one book, right, about the Central Asian religion.
This is the book. It's easiest for me to just send you
Okay, great.
the
Yeah, I see.
description
Yeah.
of it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And another thing I just wanted to know from Nozima about the Uzbek model, MIL. What kind of Uzbek model? By the Jumanova, right?
Yes, I can share your scientific articles about the Uzbek model of media information literacy. It's more about the combination of the traditional воспитание, how to say,
Education or
traditional, not the kind of education, traditions in the information sphere, traditional behavior as well. She had the kind of certain position in this. And I can share with you, I have your materials and I will share with you. There are the kind of explanation of that in detail.
okay. So, Eric, any questions? Do you have it?